Hello and welcome to Wardrobe School. This is where you can learn easy ways to make clothing for yourself or even to sell. I'm Vanya, and today I'm going to show you how I work a commercial pattern. Okay, so there are many steps for that, but then and I'm about to do a live class and showing how I sew the piece, but I just thought I would show you how I prepare. And so I have today this pattern. Let me show you. That is a simplicity, like a simple coat. Look, it's, very simple. There's just like two pockets. And so I'm gonna do with this wool fabric, but I want to also decide like which size it is and everything, and which size I'm gonna make, and then I want to show you my steps as like how I get everything prepared, right? Because I know some people cut the pattern. I don't like cutting it much, so because I think when you cut the original pattern, you just ruin it for the next person that could possibly use it, right? So let's see what we need to do that. So I usually use just like scissors, my tracing wheel, and glue stick. Could be tape as well. I have the magic tape. Sometimes I use it, but it's just way more expensive, so I try to use the glue stick. And I also like the purple glue stick because it appears. And paper, right? So there are two options. If you're doing with the tracing wheel, you're gonna use just trace on regular paper, and then I use the carbon paper as well. And this is like a sewing carbon paper. I could buy a new one because it's kind of old, but it lasts like a long time. And then just regular paper. I usually buy those like newsprint because I do drawings and stuff like that as well. And I just this is cheap and usually are useful for a lot of stuff that I work with, and for sewing is great to make patterns. They even have like the one size bigger than that, like twice as bigger, and then it fits like a lot of pattern. But this one is small, so probably that's why I need the glue stick, because it's small. It's not that small, but it's not big enough for the pattern. So I just glue it together and have a big enough for me to trace the pattern. So and then the other option, so that's how you trace with the carbon, right? I'm going to show you how I do. But there's also the tracing paper, which this one I got at Staples by the roll like that. I guess online you can find as well, but this one is a little more expensive, so I just use when it's not possible to use the carbon paper or something like more fancy, then I'll use this one. So this time I'm not going to use it, but I just want to tell you that this is also an option. Okay, so let me save this one down here. Yeah, so first step is what size it is, right? I should have looked before the video started, but first thing is choose what view you're gonna do, right? So you see how there are three views: A, B, C, and G, four. But I said three because they're just shorter. Like the B is a shorter version of the A, and that's why this one is the one I want to do it. It's like more like a jacket, because I don't have enough fabric to make the long one, so I'm gonna do it the shorter one. And then the size, mine should be probably a small. Let me see. Yeah, it says, you usually see the size back here, size European, um, or medium. I'm gonna cut the medium one because it can fit anyone. If I don't like it, I can sell it, okay? Or just give it to somebody. And then, so those are the instructions, right? And one thing I want to tell you is like, I don't always follow the instructions. Many times I just, do it myself, but I always like to look. And this is also a way to learn sewing clothing a lot, because you can visualize the cut of the patterns. This is very like helpful. For instance, here, I'm not sure you can see it, but you can see the parts of the coat. So I know that it helps me learn how a front looks like, how a back piece looks like. So those are the pieces, and they do have one thing I'm going to change in this pattern. I always change something, is that I'm not going to have a pocket lining, because they say there's two parts of the pocket, and one is for the lining. I don't want to line my pocket. I'll just put a pocket as is. And yeah, and that's it. I just have to cut, some are unfold, or some are two pieces. And you always read this on the pattern. I always ignore the fabric guidance and stuff, because I always like to experiment with different types of fabric. And yeah, and then so when my sewing video, this video when I sew this coat should be up, so you can look for it. But for now, we're just gonna cut it, okay? And then let's open the, okay, so one thing is, you got to put this on the side so you can understand which pieces are for the view that you chose. So I chose the view B, and I can see here there's a list, right, with the pieces that I need. So, and those are the ones. And now I'm going to look in the actual pattern. What pieces are those? And this pattern is cool because it has all the sizes in one. I think it goes from extra small to extra large, so that's very helpful. See? And it says on the pattern as well, so this for view B, this for view B, and all the ones that says view B, I'm gonna use it. The first thing I do is, I'm actually gonna cut the pieces, but not, that's a difference. When, so, for instance, this is see how the sizes go here? Extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large, right? Some people just cut the medium size here and that's it. And I feel like that would ruin the pattern, because then if someone else wants to make a large size, and then it's gone, right? And so I don't think that's fair. But what I'm gonna do, just to make it easier for me to work with, is to cut each piece of the pattern, but keeping all the sizes together. So I just cut it around the size, of all the sizes together. And if you're, sometimes when it's like a very vintage, this is new, it's available now, the store, if you're watching this in 2020. But sometimes there's a vintage one, and then I don't cut it at all, because I just want to respect the age of the pattern. Okay, so there's another piece. Okay, so I think I have, this piece is not for my view, so I'm gonna put this on the side. And now I have all the pieces I need for my view. The next thing I do is to iron my pattern, because I want this pattern to be very precise, right? Or as much precise as I can. So I just iron it. I take the steam off of the iron. I don't need steam for paper. Put it like in a very cool setting for it. And then just press it real quick, because the paper usually comes very wrinkled. See, and then that changes the size of the pattern, really, right? It's not perfect. When, keep in mind, like you can look like this. You look like this, you think is okay. But remember that every, this is like a quarter of an inch, another like 1/8 adds up, and then will change the shape. And that's why sometimes your pattern won't work, because it's not precise. So we must press it. Press every piece. And it's kind of fun. I like, I'm the iron lady. I like ironing. But I just like seeing the wrinkles going away. That's the sleeve. Some patterns come like not as wrinkled like this one, but it's still, you gotta iron it. So finished ironing, and now I'm gonna trace the transfer the patterns to my own paper. So I get rid of this, and then I have my paper here. And the way I do this is like, so I think, how much do I need, right? This is not gonna fit, so I need an extra sheet of paper. So I figured if I join two here, they're gonna be enough for my, this is what, the back. And the reason I cut this is like, I usually make more than one of the same, because, you know, if you make two pieces of these, the first one, it goes wrong a little, you know, it's more like a sample, and then you make the final one. So I always like to have the pattern ready, and say I like this a lot, I can make a bunch, you know, I can make in the future, and then the pattern is ready to cut. Now, like, I don't have to trace it again. And I also don't like working with those commercial pattern papers, because it's kind of like annoying. Look, then I'm just gonna glue it together here, making sure the angle is right. And then put my carbon paper. This can sit there. And in this case, my carbon paper is not long enough for the pattern, so I'll have to move it a little, and I'll show you how I do it so it doesn't compromise the pattern, right? So I'll place it here. Oh, I actually, for this part, it fits, so I'm good. I'll just put the weight. My phone is great because it works. And then, opa, and then something else. Those buttons. You know, you can have stones or something at your house. Let's see, cutting line for view D, cutting line for view B. So I just find where the view that I'm looking for and the size I'm looking for, and I trace it. Easy breezy. Always remember to mark all marks and notches on your fabric. Those little balls, usually, you know, the dots, I usually do like a cross, so I know what it is. But that's something I did for myself. You can always figure out your own way to do that. You know, you could make the dot also with a pen or something. The sleeve notch, here's another notch, another circle. Oh, this is the medium. You said this pattern is wrong. XLL medium. Oh no, it's correct. It's just the dot. Sometimes patterns could be wrong, okay? I know it's most likely that I'm wrong, but trust me, I've seen patterns with mistakes. Okay, and then this notch. And there are three notches here. This is the center back. And there's just one long line that I believe you can place on fold of the fabric or just cuts to, right? I have my ruler here. I'm gonna mark the grain line. So I don't forget. And I think that's it. Look, my back, right? Then I write it on the pattern. You know, then I'll mark the circles, the notches. This is not very straight, so I'm just gonna make a straight line here. And then I'll put coat, size medium, and it's simplicity. What's the number? Simplicity R, then 752. Back. And here, center back. Okay, and then this is good to go. I can cut it. Where are my paper scissors? Here it is. All right, and then all I need now is to mark my notches. And you know, I just cut it with the scissor. There's a tool for this that I should probably have it, but this is easy. Shoulder, the side. Okay, and then with this you can poke it and to make the hole. There's this tool called an owl that is, I don't know where mine is, but it's like a hole punch thing, and it works great, right? So now I'm gonna cut. So this one is done, which is the back, and now I'm gonna trace the other ones. Yeah, so finishing the last piece, which is the pocket. And then I'll have all my parts together. And I'll be ready to cut them. I gotta show you one thing I changed in case if you're making the same exact pattern, just so you don't get confused. So this is the pocket, and on the original pattern it doesn't have notches on the side, on the folding line here, but I'm gonna make a couple notches so when I cut the fabric I know that this is the folding line. Okay, let me grab all the other parts. Oh, this I gotta label. Simplicity coat, size medium, pocket. And the reason that I label everything, this is very important. We never want to do it because it's like, oh my God, there's another step. But trust me, when you have a bunch of patterns, you don't want to get them all mixed up. You want them to be, organized. I'm not super organized, so I try to do this so I don't lose my patterns, because I've had bad experience in the past of like I want to make something and then it's missing one part, and then I have to make, because one thing is like, okay, you can design your patterns, but you can draft your own patterns, but when you have a pattern that's done and made and you already know that works, you don't want to mess with that. You want to keep it and save it, okay? Because you might not want to make this, maybe today I'll make one coat, but then in 2 years from now I'm like, oh, I wish I had that pattern, and I go look for it and then I have it, okay? I also keep them all together, all the pieces. I'll just go and clip together like this. But look, I like looking at them because it's done and I can make them turn into a new piece, right? So just a recap, how you get your commercial pattern prepared. You need paper, and you can have tracing paper or just regular paper. If you do want to have regular paper, you have to have the carbon paper as well, which is like a sewing carbon paper. You find it online. It lasts for a long time. It's not very expensive. I recommend you to have that. You need the tracing wheel that you're gonna trace the pattern. Make sure you mark all the notches, and every mark that is on the pattern you're gonna transfer to your own. Don't cut your pattern on the sides. If it's like a multi-size pattern, you don't want to cut one size only. You can cut the pieces like I did individually, but keep all the sizes together so someone else can use it, or even you yourself. You can lose weight or gain weight, or you sometimes you change the weight of the fabric you're using, and then you want to change the size. So you want to keep all the sizes together. Since you bought the pattern, make sure you have it forever, right? And then you trace it, then you cut. Make sure you label everything, name it, put the size that you're tracing, and then group them all together and save for later. All right? I hope that helps. If you like this video, please share with your friends. And next, I'll show you how to cut the fabric and also how to sew this wonderful coat. Okay? Thank you so much.